Tatalakayin pa ang program at iba't ibang usapin sa budget ng sektor ng edukasyon. Makakasama natin ngayong araw sila Education Secretary Sani Angara, TESDA Secretary Jose Francisco Benitez, at si Commission on Higher Education Chairperson Dr. Shirley Agrupis. Magandang umaga po Secretary Sangara at Bintes at magandang umaga po Chairperson Agrupis.
Afternoon po, Yusek Claire sa Malacanang Press Corps. Magandang hapon po.
Magandang hapon.
Yeah, magandang hapon po.
Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat, sa ating kay Chair Agrupis Secretary Kiko. Nagpapasalamat po tayo kay Pangulong Bongbong sa napakagandang resulta dito sa General Appropriations Act or 2026 budget. Makasaysayan tulad ng sinabi ni Yusek Claire, not just because it's so big at 30% increase ito over last year. So ito yung pinakamalaking increase na nakita ko sa aking panahon sa politika. At bukod sa pinakamalaking budget at first time na pumasok po tayo sa UNESCO Global Standard na sinabing between 4 to 6% dapat ang gastusin ng relative to GDP or Gross Domestic Product o dun sa laki ng ekonomiya ng isang bansa, kailangan gumastos siya ng at least 4% para umunlad ng husto. Pero unprecedented din ho siya in respect to spending on very important programs. Kung babalikan po natin sa 2022, ang budget ng feeding program was only 3 billion. For 2026, it's going to be over 25 billion. Dito po sa aral program, unprecedented din po yung spending. Ito yung para humabol po tayo dahil lumalabas na nahuli na ang ating mga bata sa reading and math. So hahabol po tayo. For the first time, binigyan po tayo ng 9 billion. So lahat po ng tutors, lahat po ng eskwelahan, meron na tayong tutor under the aral program. Andyan din po yung sa classrooms. Kung dati ang salapi na binigay po ng Kongreso ay sufficient for about 5,000 to 6,000 classrooms, ang budget ngayon ay for 24,000 classrooms na po. So nagpapasalamat po tayo sa di lamang sa Pangulo pero sa liderato din po ng at miyembro ng dalawang kamara sa Senado at saka sa Kongreso. Yung personnel din po nabanggitin po ni Yusek Claire. Unprecedented, not only the hiring, we'll be hiring at ito continuous over the last few years. Kaya yung nababakante, yung shortages natin sa teachers, medyo nasasagot na po natin. Yung promotion, yung tinatawag na ECP or Expanded Career Progression, nakapag-promote po tayo ng 16,000 teachers. Ito yung rason kung bakit umaalis ang ating mga teachers dahil sa pakiramdam po nila, hindi sila na-appreciate ng pamahalaan, hindi sila na-promote ng gusto. Halos isang dekada, hindi na-promote, hindi tumataas ang sweldo. Pero dito sa binigay na budget, kaya nga unprecedented din po in terms of promotions kasi makakapag-promote tayo ng over 100,000 with the budget given by Congress this year. So yun lang po, bigay ko na po sa ibang ahensya po. Thank you.
Yeah, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Tulad ng sinabi ng aking partner sa Trifocal Education System, si Secretary Angara at saka si Secretary Benitez, we are really very grateful kasi lahat po ng pangako ng ating Pangulo sa SONA 2025 ay na-realize na. At marami talagang pasalamat kami sa kanya kasi ngayon lang po namin nakita. Ako po ay nandun sa higher education for the last 20 years pero ngayon ko lang nakita kung gaano kapursigido ang ating Pangulo sa pagpapatupad ng mga nakalaan sa ating UNIFAS law. For the Commission on Higher Education, talaga pong nakaka-inspire ang pagtaas ng aming budget from 33 billion ng NEP ay nag-increase ng 40.11%. That is amounting to 47 billion pesos. And out of this 47 billion, 40 billion is dedicated to implement the UNIFAS law. That includes the free higher education, free tuition fee for all students enrolling in state-funded university, local university and colleges, and assistance to students who are going to enroll in private universities na wala pong na ipatayo na government-funded state university and colleges doon. On top of that, may mga tertiary education subsidy. So nagagalak po ako na lahat po ng ongoing na enrolled ng state-funded university at mga tertiary education subsidy na kulang noong NEP ay nabigyan na po. Tumaas na din po ang funding ng MSRS, yung mga medical students natin. Kasi sa ngayon, we have 26 College of Medicine and our target, ang target ng Pangulo ay lahat ng region ay may College of Medicine para atendahan ang kalusugan ng ating kapwa Pilipino. Tumaas po siya. So both institutional and expansion of scholarship. Sa mga nag-aaral na nakalista sa listahanan or the 4Ps, na-assurean na rin po ang kanilang pagtupad ng kanilang pangarap. And ang special mention dito ay ang bagong scholarship na mai-implement ngayon. Nagkaroon po ng 20,000 slot na sinasabi kong AAA scholarship because the EDCOM 2 report is alarmingly declaring na may mga sectors sa ating workforce na hindi na i-enroll. Why? Because kulang po ng scholarship funding. So, ang ating Pangulo, sabi niya, kailangan natin punuin ang mga sectors na mahirap punuin. So saan mang gagaling yung mga, so nagkaroon kami ngayon ng bagong scholarship. We call it Bagong Pilipinas Merit Scholarship Program. We have 20,000 slot of this who are encouraged, students who are encouraged to enroll in the priority program kahit private or state-funded, meron na po silang pag-asang matupad ang kanilang mga ambisyon at makatulong sa pagbuo ng bagong Pilipinas. So ito po ay lahat ay katuparan sa mga pangako ng ating Pangulo sa kanyang binitiwang promise during the SONA. And sa CHED, we already have a very clear direction, the 7-point agenda achieved, which we will implement in 2026. So marami pong salamat in partnership with the Secretary of the Department of Education and the TESDA. We are now working hard to really functionalize the trifocal education system in the Philippines so that wala pong mahuhuli. We will be providing a seamless pathway. So lahat at any point in their educational journey, wala pong maiiwan. Marami pong salamat.
Magandang hapon ho sa inyong lahat. Sa amin naman pong bahagi, no, baka mas iklian ko na lang kasi alam ko mas marami kayong mga tatanong siguro sa amin. Magpapasalamat na rin ho ako dahil ang budget po ng TESDA para sa 2026 ay ang pinakamalaking budget po ng TESDA, no, sa amin din pong kasaysayan. We have 19 billion pesos in terms of scholarship funds for the first time, no. Kasali na ho dyan ang aming ongoing efforts on training child development workers nationwide. Ongoing po ang aming training for 9,000 child development workers with an additional 9,000 in Dagaa as promised by the Office of the President as part of the mitigation, no, of stunting in the country. Ito ho ay isa ring recommendation ng EDCOM. Kasali na rin ho dyan ang aming rollout ng enterprise-based education and training ng Pilipinas na nilagdaan ho ng Pangulo a year or so ago na ina-implement umpisahan sa 2025. Humigit na po ng 400 or 420 thereabouts registered EBET programs in the second half of 2025, and we are hoping to be able to target almost 100,000 EBET learners, no, in the 2026. Nagdagdag din po ng pondo ang ating mahal na Pangulo sa EBET program sa pamamagitan po ng ating tulong trabaho sa scholarship program for those particularly not in education, employment or training, as well as upskilling for those already employed as part of EBET. Ang huli ko na lang siguro sasabihin sa ngayon, no, bago magbukas ng mga katanungan sa ating mga friends from the media, is meron ho tayong 500 million din na nilagay sa GAA para po sa aming tinatawag na micro-credentials. This is designed particularly for the near hires. Sa Pangulo rin ho nang galing itong funding na ito, but also for mitigating AI disruption in our labor workforce. After all ho kami sa TESDA, ang amin pong mandato ay training to trabaho at para po makatulong sa employability ng ating mga mamamayan. Maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Unang tanong mula kay Katrina Domingo, ABS-CBN.
Hi, Secretaries. Good morning po. Sir, may we know for DepEd how much the absorptive capacity of DepEd has been annually during the Marcos Jr. administration?
Siguro nasa 90 plus, 90 on the average 90%.
2022 to 2025, 90%. Sir, we have a very high demand so far for teachers and non-teaching personnel. That's over 65,000. What about the supply? Do we have enough qualified teachers to actually fill in those positions?
So the short answer is yes. Meron. In fact, maraming let passers na the number of let passers exceeds. So the supply actually exceeds the demand.
Sunod na
Sorry, ma'am. Sir, for the classrooms naman po, ilan po yung you mentioned that you were given a budget for 5,000 to 6,000 classrooms.
Previously.
Ilan po yung napatayo?
Sorry, I have the figures here for the classrooms. For 2022, 8,900. Round off ko na lang 2023, 2,900. 2024, 3,500. 2025, 4,700. But clarify ko lang kasi there's a ito yung nag-budget from different years. These are just the completed classrooms in those years.
Sir, in 2025, you fell short by about 2,000 classrooms. How confident is the DepEd in terms of actually utilizing the entire budget, the bigger budget that is allocated this year for the construction of classrooms, considering that there have been several projects flagged as ghost or substandard for classrooms?
Well, kami binago natin yung sistema. Nakita natin nagdi-decline yung efficiency ng construction agencies. So we for the first time we're moving beyond hindi lang DPWH ang pwedeng gumawa ng classrooms kasi dati merong provision sa yearly budget or GAA na limited to DPWH ang construction. So ngayon meron tayong flexibility provision na aside from DPWH, even DepEd, even local government units. So what we're looking forward to is working with various local government units. And the majority of the projected 20,000 plus classrooms will be built by our local government units or bidded out by our local government units.
Sunod na tanong mula kay Julie Baiza, 1PH.
Hi, Sec.
Hello.
Finlag po ng COA yung inclusion ng ghost students sa senior high school voucher program. Ang sabi, this may result to misallocation of public funds. Ano po yung naging tugon or ginagawa ngayon ng DepEd para maiwasan po?
Nag-file kami ng cases several months ago actually. We have 7 pending cases and I think isang dosena pa yung under investigation na malapit nang i-file.
Pero may listed daw po ng mga enrolled pero hindi po mapasok or listed sa multiple times in the same school. Paano po natin maiiwasan yon? May binago po ba sa sistema or regulations po ng DepEd?
Opo, tama ho yun. Kaya binago ho natin yung sistema. Dati binabayaran ka agad, ina-advance yung bayad. Ngayon, tinitingnan talaga yung resulta at kung naka-enroll. Tapos yung learner number at nag-institute tayo ng mga safeguards both at the school level and at the DepEd level. So, binabangga namin yung mga database natin na dati hindi ginagawa.
So mas confident po tayo na maiiwasan na yung mga ghost students and
Yes, definitely.
Sunod na tanong mula kay Marcel Halili, TV5.
Magandang umaga po. For Chair Agrupis, ma'am, si Representative Antonio Tino, kinundin na niya yung pag-veto ni President Marcos doon sa personal services requirements under the unprogrammed appropriations. He said na ito daw po pondo para dito, this may affect the 259,000 job orders and contract of service workers in national government, including 41,000 professors, instructors, and administrative staff in state universities and colleges. Gaano po ito ka-accurate?
Yeah, that is a very problematic now sa mga higher education institution. But the law clearly states that wala naman nabago doon. It's just that walang additional COS or JOS, but kung merong additional deliverables na hindi nagagawa ng present JO or COS, pwedeng i-justify yon. Yun lang yung tweak ng old at saka ngayon. So when it comes to higher education, we still maintain yung pag-hire namin ng contractual instructors or professors. But if there are increase in enrollment because we have to comply with the student-faculty ratio, as long as it is justifiable, the law provides na pwede na kaming mag-hire. So it does not at all affect yung teaching and learning environment sa higher education. Ang medyo naaapektuhan is yung non-teaching personnel because it is very clear na kung ang COS and the JO job is already existing in the existing organizational structure, we need to justify kung bakit kailangan pa ng additional COS and JOs.
So, may punto po ba yung sinasabi ni Representative Tino na the cut means they cannot be hired as regular government employees and will have to endure yet another year as unpaid yet overworked contract workers?
Yeah, as of now, walang data ang commission to answer that. What we can assure is that the present plantilla position with the provision of additional hiring of COS and JOs for academic position is still there. So, but for the non-teaching, lalabas naman na. It is our prayer na lalabas yung ROS namin. ROS 2, lumabas na kasi last year yung ROS 1. Yung ROS 2 ang hinihintay so that we can position yung mga crucial sa organizational structure, we can position yung COS and JOS that functions sa non-teaching staff organizational structure ng higher education.
Last, just to sum it up, paano po makakaapekto yung pag-veto dito sa particular item na to under UA in terms of hiring?
Yeah, ang naapektuhan dito is we may have limitation in increasing the number of enrollment natin. So, kung hindi magiging klaro ngayon yung hiring ng additional teaching and non-teaching staff, we can only admit or increase enrollment as many.
Next question, mula kay Tristan Nadalo, Newswatch Plus.
Good morning po, Secretary Sonny. Sir, yung sa 24,000 classrooms na target, parang how exactly does the DepEd plan to construct these classrooms? Ano na po yung initial coordination with different partners and the realistic timeline? Siyempre po baka umasa din yung mga kababayan natin na in 1 year may 24,000 classrooms na.
Well, just to clarify, we don't expect all of those 24,000 to be constructed in 365 days. Kasi historically, hindi talaga nangyayari yon. But at the very least, maumpisahan yan. Kasi nakikita natin it takes sometimes even 2 to 3 years to finish this classroom. Kasi yung release ng pera, hindi January. Minsan sa June or sa October. So it carries over to succeeding years. So, but definitely, ang plano dito is about at the most 25% will be DPWH based. So that's, you're talking about maybe 6,000. Although sinabi ni Sec Vin sa amin na they want to be conservative and they're looking at 2,000 classrooms. So we have to really settle that with the Sec Vins and DPWH. Ilan talaga yung kaya nilang i-construct of the 24,000. And then dun sa LGUs, yun naman ang opposite. Sila gustong-gusto nila na i-take on. They want as much of the construction to be downloaded to them. So yun, hopefully mabigay ng DBM kagad yung pera para ma-download namin sa local government. So we're talking about the possibility of 80 provinces, 160 cities, hopefully several of the 1,600 municipalities, hindi na barangay pero hanggang municipality na lang yung pwedeng mag-construct. So anyone who has the capacity, tapos meron din the provision in the General Appropriations Act, pinapayagan din yung mga civil society organizations, NGOs, na may proven record of constructing. So marami tayo niyan, yung Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers, yung Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, may mga foundations na may record of building. And yun man, pwede natin ibigay sa kanila yung last mile school construction. Dahil yun, wala masyadong takers yun eh. So yun, pwede natin i-download sa kanila.
And hopefully, sir, ma-address din yung EDCOM report about, yung bottlenecks when it comes to classroom construction, yung failed bidding, planning delays, design modifications ng mga classroom po.
Yes, definitely. That's why we're also looking at the capacity of the LGUs and of course there will be growing pains dahil first time gagawin to eh. So tatansa natin di ba? Hindi natin kabisado yung capacity ng isang probinsya, for example. Baka nag-overestimate si Gov, di ba? So those things we expect there'll be some bumps along the road, but definitely this will be way more efficient. Mas maging efficient ito sa dating sistema.
And last na lang po, process on equity and access, Sec Sunny, because syempre yung mga geographically isolated areas, parang how can they benefit dito sa mga classroom constructions na to, o yung mga overcrowded, kasi baka may concern na concentrated lang in one region yung pagko-construct ng
That's a great question.
classroom.
Meron tayong program for last mile schools. So there's over 1 billion just for the last mile schools. So yun talaga para dun sa kanila yon. So hindi sila maka-crowd out ng mga urban areas where the need is greatest.
Next question mula kay Alvin Baltasar, Radyo Pilipinas.
Secretary, good morning po.
Morning po.
Sir, just going back doon sa 65,100 new teaching and non-teaching vacancies ba? Clarification lang, puro plantilla position po ba ito?
Opo.
And magkano po ba ang entry level ng public school teachers sa atin?
Nasa nasa mga 31,000 a month, and then with all the bonuses, annually aabot na ng kalahating milyon.
So that's about salary grade what?
11 po. 11.
Thank you, Sec. Salamat po.
Ivan Mayrina, GMA7.
Kay Secretary Benitez, sinabi niyo po pinakamalaki ang 19 billion na budget in the history of the agency. May estimate ho kaya kayo how much will this impact unemployment? Kasi sinasabi ninyo, you train people para maging mas employable. With this much budget, how many more Filipinos are you going to help get employed with new skills?
We are, of course, targeting somewhere between 600 and 650,000 learners for next year. No? Depending po yan kasi sa average ng cost of training. So depende rin po sa ating mga kababayan kung anong kanilang pangangailangan. If it is a near hire or an upskilling para po makapaghanap ng mas magandang trabaho, mas mura po ang training costs nila. If it is going to be a training that has to be longer term, then it costs a little bit more. The second variable siguro that needs to be taken into account is whether or not these are higher level skills specific for digital services or digital transitions, where again, the training cost increases, right? So the good news about the enterprise-based education and training is, of course, our employability rates range from around 85% to 95% of those that get trained in those sectors within industry itself. So we are hoping that the catalyzing factor of the EBET TTSP funding that comes from the GAA will steamroll, lalaki at lalaki. Beyond po sa ating actual scholarship funds na ibinigay sa atin ng GAA, meron po kasing incentives na binibigay ang gobyerno para po dun sa mga industriya na mag-i-EBET, mag-enterprise-based education and training. So meron pong tax incentives na binibigay ang DOF para dito. At meron din ho tayong mga tinatawag na Adopt a School program. Kagaya po ng sinabi ni Chair Shirley, ang tatluhong ahensya ngayon ay nag-uusap kung saan nagko-coordinate ho kami. Meron ho tayong Adopt a School Council na ang chair po ay si Secretary Angara, no? That DepEd takes the lead. This is a PPP model once again. So the straight simple answer is we are targeting around 600 to 650,000 learners for 2026 from the 19 billion funding. Depending on the demand and the uptake of Filipinos, that can go up to almost 700,000. The the TVET ecosystem generally enrolls around 1.6 million Filipinos annually. So what we are trying to do through all of these is to leverage government funds to increase the number of Filipinos that can in fact avail and benefit from the system, particularly through incentives such as EBET incentives in taxes or in Adopt a School processes, but also direct them to modalities where employability is the highest. No? So yun ho ang pinaka madaling sagot siguro sa tanong ninyo.
Isang tanong mula kay Katrina Domingo.
Saxony pahabol po. The Philippines got low PISA scores in recent years, and yet the PISA will soon be upgraded into PISA Male. How do you intend to utilize your highest budget ever to ensure that Filipinos can score high, not just in PISA, but also in PISA Male?
PISA
Male, Media and Artificial
with
Intelligence
AI,
Literacy.
may
Yes,
AI
sir.
na siya. Yeah. Well, we put up an AI center, no? Tapos kasama natin yung MIT or yung Massachusetts Institute of Technology na fina-finalize yung AI curriculum ng Philippines. Tapos yung PISA kasi very different kasi yung paraan natin ng pagturo eh. Nandun tayo sa memorization at saka sa hindi integrated yung subject matter natin. Hindi problem solving ang exams natin. So what we're doing is we're trying to transform the way we teach at saka yung way we test also to approximate real world problems at saka to incorporate kasi yung PISA very nagte-take into account ng current events eh. So kung climate change ang favorite topic of the day, maggagawa sila ng questions on climate change. So dapat medyo timely din yung pagturo natin ng mga current events, etc. Dapat naka-incorporate din po yun sa curriculum to make sure na updated po ang ating mga estudyante. At of course, it reflects on us how we perform in these international assessments. At ang gusto ni Pangulong Bongbong, we really improve. And I think, hopefully, lalabas yan in a few months. No? Hopefully, we will have improvement.
Sir, how much will the Philippines spend for this AI center with MIT? And ano po yung timeline as for the rollout and the delivery?
Yung AI center, actually, that's budgeted 100 million under but that's just to fund the operations of the AI center. Yung tulong ng MIT libre yon actually. Inoffer nila yon to us to review our curriculum. So wala tayong binayad sa kanila. Mga first quarter, it will be completed by first quarter or early second quarter.
Sunod na tanong mula kay Eden Santos, Net25.
Kay Ma'am Agrupis po. Ma'am, yung binabanggit ninyong bagong scholarship, yun po bang Pilipinas Merit in Scholarship Program, did I get it right? Magkano po yung exact budget para dito na inilaan po? At ilan po yung target nating scholar na makikinabang?
Yes po. Itong bagong Pilipinas Merit Scholarship Program is very, very specific siya. Meron siyang 634 million to cover 20,000 slots. And this is across the country yan. So ang ginawa namin, which we are scheduled to present the guidelines mamaya kay President BBM. Kasi ito yung kanyang number 1 na binigay sa amin sa bagong administrasyon ng CHED.
Speaking yung guidelines po, may mechanism po ba tayo in place para masiguro na mapapakinabangan talaga ito ng mga estudyanteng karapat-dapat pong mabigyan ng scholarship at hindi po ito matulad sa DepEd ng mga ghost yung ghost project, ghost scholars. Sec, pasensya na.
Joke lang, joke.
Yeah, everything is in place na po. In fact, we are in the spirit of transparency, nakagawa na rin kami ng bagong Pilipinas Scholarship Portal. And this is now a very example how the trifocal education system works. Kasi ang aming sampling population is coming from DepEd. So meron na rin kaming number out sa ngayon we have already recorded yung number ng possible sources ng DepEd across the country, and then we develop an equation para po magiging inclusive siya. Hindi yung sa NCR mas madaming magagaling, dito manggagaling lahat. No, we develop a mechanism in order that yung ratio may ratio na ibibigay per region, and we have that complete data already.
May sa bawat region po, tig-ilan pong scholars ang ating bibigyan?
Yes po. We already have here the number of senior high school per region, and then we designated top 5 kasi this is I call it AAA scholarship program based on the general weighted average. Yung top 5 ang kukunin namin, but that only constitute a certain percentage of the criteria. Kasi ang limitation nito, kasi ang tertiary education subsidy, the listahanan, lahat-lahat po ng other scholarship is nandun lahat para lang itawid yung mga 4Ps natin. Itong scholarship na po ito ay we will target the low middle class income earners, at meron na ring designated income na pinag-uusapan dito. So for now, gusto din namin itaguyod. Meron tayong Philippine Science High School na sinasabi natin. They have been supported by the Department of Science and Technology. And to date, we have 1,439 students across the country. They constitute 7% of the 20,000 slot. Kung interesado silang mag-enroll sa priority programs na in-identified ng EDCOM, then we can give them a slot of 1,439 minus 20,000, totaling to 18,000. Yun yung i-distribute namin sa different regions. So ang pag-select ng aming slot is per region po. For example, in Region 1, taga-Region 1 ako, but it is computed based on the formula that we develop. So the top 5 students from 800 senior high school ay 4,000. So with the formula that we developed, they only given a 6.43 slots of the 18,000 remaining slots. So mga 1,193 ang ibibigay namin. And it follows. The formula is implemented across the region. In NCR, for example, 995 ang identified. This is the data from DepEd. So dito pumapasok yung aming pagsasamahan ngayon. Kung may kamali, sila yung hahabulin niya. 996 senior high school, and then may 217,000 total grade students. Pero top 5 ay nagkakaroon lang ng 4,980. Using the formula, 8% lang ang kukunin namin from the sampling population of 4,980, totaling to 1,485.
So hindi naman po sa lahat ng region ang kukunin ay 1,400 plus. Depende po kung ilan yung estudyante
Yes.
nila doon.
This depends on the sampling population of the top 5.
So ano po ito ba, cash na scholarship, ma'am, or yung bata bibigyan lang din na kagaya ng GL sa mga may sakit? Paano po 'yon?
Yeah, since this is merit-based at nakatipende ito sa priority program ng gobyerno, so cash-based talaga siya. And we allotted stipend kung within the provincia, within the NCR or outside NCR. The most important point to highlight here is that kung ang bata ay talagang magaling at gusto niyang mag-enroll sa isang priority program na nandun sa De La Salle Ateneo, merong corresponding amount na ibibigay sa kanya. So they are not limited to state-funded state university and colleges.
So wala namang 20K monthly ang isang scholar, mga
If I may read the data I have right now, kung ang bata ay nag-enroll sa state university and colleges or look, that is government, free hire kasi siya. So ang makukuha lang niya is 25,000 per semester sa stipend niya. Sa book and connectivity niya is 4,000. So ang total benefits ng estudyante na nag-enroll sa government-funded state per semester is 29,000. Per year, 58,000. Pero kung nag-enroll siya from outside sa kanyang ng NCR, mas mababa siya. So, prorated. Ang ano pa, pero pag nag-enroll siya ng private sa NCR, ang tuition fee na kinuha namin yung average ng tuition fee ng mga top-notch sa private school natin, mabibigyan siya ng tuition fee subsidy ng 75,000, stipend ng 25,000, parehas ng book connectivity. Kaya ang per year ang maibibigay sa kanya kung private within NCR is 208,000. Outside is 98,000.
Next question. Okay, last 3 questions, 1 question each. First from Eugene Fernandez, IBC 13.
Good afternoon po for Dr. Agrupis. Gusto ko lang po itanong, since you mentioned na na-inspire kayo sa pagtaas ng budget from 33 billion sa NEP to 40 up to 47 billion pesos. Ask ko lang po, nabawasan po ba ng pagtaas na to yung mga budget cuts sa state universities and colleges natin?
I'm not privy to the individual fund allocation of SUP, but what I can highlight here is that tinapos na namin yung problema ng state university and colleges ng deficiency ng free higher education. Nakipagtulungan kami sa Congress, source out from the savings of HEDF. We allocated 7.8 billion to help finance the deficiency of free higher education from 2022 to 2025. So magiging mas maluwag ngayon ang fiscal space ng higher education institution to improve their laboratories and send their faculty to graduate school.
Sunod mula kay Tristan Nadalo, Newswatch Plus.
Ay, hello po ulit. Maybe for the 3 officials here, na-address na po ba yung mga concerns ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos with the K-12 program? Early this year, 2025, diba, he expressed frustration over the undelivered promises of K-12. So, in your own assessment and with a bigger budget, how do you plan to basically address itong concern ng K-12, and is it still working the way it is intended to be?
You want me to answer it?
This is all,
From our side, the major issue with the K-12, for TESDA at least, is whether or not those that graduate from senior high school are employable. So ang ginawa ho namin last 2025, at meron din pong pondo na inilagay ang ating Pangulo at ang Kongreso, both the Senate and the House, is for free assessment of senior high school students. So ongoing po yan, meron pa rin pong funding para dyan in 2026. No, and we have reached almost 190,000 senior high school students that have been properly assessed and certified as employable with the appropriate NC2s and NC3s in accordance with the courses that they would have taken in senior high school. So that's an ongoing process. So if the issue is whether or not senior high school students moving forward will be employable, masasabi naman po ng TESDA at least that we can certify that as many of them as willing to take the assessment will be employable. Salamat rin ho yan, kagaya ng sinabi paulit-ulit na sinasabi ni Chair Agrupis, nasa ano ho yan, topic po yan ng aming chat group sa aming tatlo.
Last question mula kay Clizel Pardilla, PTV.
I think gusto natin sagutin. Okay lang ba? Sagutin
Ay,
yung
sige po, sir.
sa K-12 will
Yeah, thank you so much. Yung K-12 is one agenda na tinatalakay namin sa first MANCOM. For the information of everyone, for the first time, meron na kaming joint MANCOM meeting with DepEd, TESDA, and higher education para nag-align kami. Yung concern ng K-12, we share this with TESDA and DepEd. Ang napaka-challenging is sa higher education institution because we are governed by the provision of the UNIFAS law, the free higher education. So ang kinokontrol lang namin ngayon is dapat meron sanang standard entrance examination to determine whether your student ay pupunta sa gusto niyang pupuntahan. Ang challenge namin dito sa K-12 is yung readiness ng estudyante na pupunta sa pinili niyang kurso. So ang immediate na ginagawa namin is may bridging program. Halimbawa, ang track na pinuntahan ng bata is sa ABM, pero gusto niyang mag-enroll ng engineering. Medyo malayo yon. This is where the mismatch come in. So, yun yung ngayon, ang pag-usapan namin ngayon was sa second MANCOM meeting namin, paano namin i-harmonize ang evaluation ng incoming freshman students sa higher education and TESDA. So we will be agreeing on the cut-off. O ito, magaling ito. So may mga science, social sciences, accounting. So we will determine the passing rate para pupunta na dito. This will address the mismatch in the world of work.
Last na lang, dagdag ko na lang dun sa sinabi ni Sec Kiko tsaka ni Chair Shirley. Yung curriculum inayos natin dahil yung criticism masyadong cluttered, 33 subjects. Ginawa na lang natin 5 required subjects. Tapos yung rest, parang electives na nung bata. Tsaka hindi natin kinakahon yung bata na vocational subjects ka lang. So kasi in the age of AI, kailangan may flexibility tayo eh. So pwede siya mag-vocational, so skills, pwede rin siya mag-academic subjects, pwede niyang haluin yun. Tapos pangalawa is yung closer linkage with industry. So yung sinasabi nila na hindi job ready yung graduates ng K-12, this will take care of that. From 300 hours maximum dati, gagawin na natin 640 hours, which is almost 1 semester of job immersion.
Dagdag ko na lang kasi napag-usapan na rin nilang dalawa. The curriculum has been changed. No? The second piece siguro that might be worth mentioning is TESDA and CHED are trying to make sure that our trainings and the curricula of higher education are aligned as well, so that the student that chooses to opt either for a tech voc track or a higher education track for college doesn't have to choose the same doesn't have to stick to that same choice forever, right? So meron pong strengthening ng aming recognition of prior learning systems in both CHED and TESDA para po maipatupad ang pangako ni Chair Shirley na meron pong seamless pathways, no, and multiple entrances and exits within the formal education system. And we are grateful for DepEd for making their senior high school curricula actually much more flexible, so that it also allows for this seamless pathway.
Last question mula kay Clizel Pardilla, PTV.
Good afternoon po, Secretary Angara. Sir, how many tutors will be hired po doon sa ARAL program, and would it be sufficient enough to address itong na-mention nyo na mga naiiwang bata?
About 448,000 tutors will be hired under, kasi full funding na po yung ARAL this year with 8.9 billion. Last year, itong 2025, 4 billion lang ang na-fund. So this will be the first time that we'll be giving the full fund. Zero pala. Ang 4 billion pala is the required funding for the literacy. So wala kasi new law yun bagong law. So hindi naabutan nung GAA 2025. Nag-carve out na lang tayo ng funding doon. So most of the tutors were actually DepEd teachers na binigyan na lang, pina-overtime na lang actually. So this year, hopefully, talagang hindi kailangan na teacher lahat ng magiging tutor. Voluntary na for the teacher para hindi siya overloaded.
And sir, sorry, how many students will be accommodated?
6.7 million versus 3 million lang for this year. Oo, so halos madodoble siya because of the increased budget.
Alright, thank you po, Sec.
Thank you.
Thank you, MPC. Yusek Claire, balik sa'yo.
Thank you very much at gusto lamang muli nating pasalamatan dahil napag-usapan ang tungkol sa students. Maraming salamat dahil sa pagpasok po ni Secretary Sani Angara sa DepEd. Ito po ay na-discovery. At kung gusto nating malaman, magkano po ulit yung na-save natin dahil sa inyong pag-discovery ng GOST students?
Over 200 million.
200 million.
Mr. Claire.
Maraming salamat at nakapasok po kayo sa DepEd.
Thank you po. Thank you po.
Okay, maraming salamat muli kay Secretary Sani Angara, Secretary Francisco Benitez, and Chair Shirley Agrupis. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat po, Yusek Claire. Maraming salamat sa Malacanang Press Corps.
Salamat.
Thank you.